Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a special occasion dinner recipe, and I'll be making my roasted leg of lamb with baby potatoes. And I absolutely love this roasted leg of lamb recipe. It's super easy to put together. It requires just a few ingredients, but the flavors are amazing. We're going to be using rosemary, thyme, garlic. I'm going to roast the leg of lamb over a bed of baby potatoes in my casserole pan, which is going to add so much great flavor to the potatoes as well. I love this recipe for Sunday family dinners or for special occasion holidays such as Easter. Now, I really wanted a bone-in leg of lamb, and I couldn't find it anywhere at this time, so I'm going to be using a boneless leg of lamb, which is just as good, and it's super easy to prepare. Let me show you how it's done. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I have some baby potatoes in a large casserole pan, and before we get started with the leg of lamb, I'm going to prepare the sauce or the spread that we're going to season the lamb with. So into a small bowl, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of coarsely ground Dijon mustard. Any kind of Dijon mustard will work really well for this recipe. And we're going to add in about 3 to 4 tablespoons of a good olive oil. Next, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of thyme leaves, and I have about 1.5 tablespoons of freshly chopped rosemary and 5 minced garlic cloves. And I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper. And I'll add in about 1 tablespoon of coarse kosher salt. I want to add lots of salt, maybe even 1.5 tablespoons, and then grab a whisk and combine this all together. Add a little bit more oil to that. And this is also a really great time to season the potatoes. So some of the larger pieces I cut in half. I'm going to drizzle some of that same olive oil over the potatoes because I want them to be nicely coated. And then we're going to season the potatoes with some salt, some ground black pepper, and a little bit of herb de Provence or an Italian herb blend. You just want to add some of your favorite herbs and spices in there to get the potatoes seasoned. And then just grab a spatula and toss those potatoes so that they're well coated in that olive oil. And you can add more oil as needed. And now let's switch gears back to the lamb. So I have a large leg of lamb. It's boneless. Again, this recipe will work really well with a bone-in lamb as well. Now, the one advantage to having a boneless leg of lamb is the bone is already removed, so you can add more seasonings on the inside. So you have flavor both on the inside and the outside. That's a really good advantage. And this particular leg of lamb was stored in a netted bag, so the net kind of left these score lines, and I'm actually going to use those to my advantage, and I'm going to score the fat. So there's usually a nice sheet of fat that protects the outside of the leg of lamb. You want to grab a sharp knife and just score that fat, and this is going to help some of those spices and the herbs to really get down in there. And now I'm going to grab that garlic and mustard and olive oil spread, and I'm going to really rub it into the scored lamb fat. Make sure it really gets in there. It's going to add so much amazing flavor. And then one of the advantages, and I mentioned this earlier, of using a boneless leg of lamb is you could get some of these spices and flavorings right into the center. Now, if you're using a bone-in leg of lamb, just spread the spread evenly all over on the outside. Now, this next step is optional, but I do recommend doing this if you're using a boneless leg of lamb. I'm going to grab some kitchen twine and wrap it around the meat, kind of pull it together so it's nice and snug, and this will ensure that the meat cooks more evenly in the oven. And now I'm going to transfer my leg of lamb into my casserole dish, and I'm going to place it right over my potatoes. And I've positioned my lamb right on top of the potatoes, and this is just going to help it roast more evenly, and all that fat and all the juices are going to pour into the pan and season those potatoes, and they're going to be so flavorful. And my leg of lamb is ready to go into my preheated oven. I'm not going to cover it with any foil. I'm going to roast it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Now the timing all depends on how large your leg of lamb is and if it's bone in or not. So bone in is going to take a little bit longer. Whichever size you have, or bone in or not, you want to roast it until the internal temperature reaches 135 degrees Fahrenheit. That's going to be a medium doneness. If you want it to be more well done, you could cook it until it's 145 degrees Fahrenheit on the inside. We'll come back once it's all done roasting, and I'll show you just how delicious this looks after it comes out of the oven. I just took my lamb roast out of the oven, and it smells so good. The first thing I did was I grabbed some scissors and I removed all the twine. You always want to remove that. Never ever serve any kind of roasted meat with the twine attached. I'm just going to tilt the pan over, and there's all this good stuff here at the bottom of the pan. Some drippings, some oil. I'm just going to pour that back over the lamb and let this sit for a good 15 to 20 minutes. Let that meat rest. And my meat has rested for about 20 minutes now, so I've transferred it to a carving board. I'm just going to portion it real quick. It's kind of coming apart here in the middle, so I'm going to set that back into the pan. This is going to be so good, guys. I want to show you just how juicy it is on the inside. Grab a long carving knife. This lamb is just unbelievably juicy and flavorful, and the aroma is just mouth-watering. I wish you guys could smell it through the video screen, but check that out. Now, I like my lamb medium doneness, so if you want your lamb to be more done, feel free to cook it for longer. This is a really ideal temperature where the meat is still really nice and tender. And that's it, guys, my roasted leg of lamb dinner. This is the perfect option for a Sunday family dinner or for a special holiday such as Easter. The aroma from this in the oven is just mouth-watering. I can't wait to dig in and enjoy. For the full recipe, head on down into that video description box. I've left you a link that'll take you over to my website so you can print this recipe off and share it with your family and friends. Time to dig in and enjoy. I love how juicy this lamb meat is. It's just so juicy, so aromatic. I'm gonna grab a little of the lamb, some potato. Looks amazing. And this roasted lamb meat is just so good. You guys are gonna be blown away with the flavors. First of all, super juicy, super flavorful, and I love the combination of the garlic with the herbs and the mustard, and it just gets slow roasted in the oven to perfection. It's so delicious. You guys are going to love it. And I love the potatoes as well. They're just seasoned with the lamb juices and all the spices in there. Perfection. If you guys are looking for the ultimate special occasion dinner, or you want just a really delicious Sunday roast dinner, this is it. Make sure to head on down into that video description box to get that recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe at home. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.